Welcome back to the Amanda Gervasi Show, where we share real conversations with people who are boldly creating lives on their own terms. Today, I'm joined by Daniela Panetta. She's a best-selling author, direct sales entrepreneur, and clean beauty educator. A retired pharmacy technician, Daniela spent years helping people pursue healthier lives. And today, she continues that mission by empowering women to reclaim their confidence through clean beauty and entrepreneurial opportunities. Daniela, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here and to really dive into your story today. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited as well.
Fantastic. So Daniela and I met through social media and things that kind of intertwined and having a lot of similar mindsets and journey. And, I think she's a fantastic woman. So I'm really excited to get into her story a little bit and how she got to where she got and how she continues to grow and evolve and help others along her own journey. So I'd like to really just start off with a little bit of your background. So I know that you started off as a pharmacy technician. So what was that defining moment that really pushed you to stop, living a life on autopilot for somebody else and really start leading it with intention for you?
So this happened, I'm not even too sure at what point in my career as a registered pharmacy technician. I was in the career for over 18 years. So I'm not sure at what point I started to realize that I'm not helping people here. Like I got into it because actually I was sick when I was a little girl and they told my parents that I was going to either A, pass away or be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. And here I am and
My
I
God.
can run. I actually lost my hair when I was 6 as well because of the treatments that they were doing. So, because of that journey that I experienced as a very young girl, my thing was that I wanted to be a pediatrician. But when I went to school, I was one of the cool girls per se, and I wasn't getting all the grades in order to go to university to become that pediatrician. So I looked at what else was available to me. So then, of course, what would be next to a doctor? A nurse. So I actually got accepted to all of the nursing programs. But at that time, my dad was actually sick in the hospital, and I got to experience firsthand. And that's just not me. That's
Mhm.
not me. And then my dad passed away. So I was just like, okay, but still, how do I still be involved in this type of environment? So I went to that catalog to see what courses were available to me. And I found this registered pharmacy technician. So I wanted to help people. I wanted to help people like I was helped. But when I was in the career, that's not what was happening. The same patients were coming back. Their list of medications were getting longer. They were getting sicker. And it was just like, hey, this is not what I'm here for. I'm here to help people live a fulfilled life. So I wasn't too sure where I wanted to like pivot to, but I was seeing far too many women in the online space earning an income through sharing products that we use. So I
Right.
actually got involved with my first direct sales company in 2017. I still love and use those products today, but through that journey of really discovering that there is this online space. We sit here and we scroll all the time watching other women succeed. And we have that feeling, why not us? So that's really what I'm doing here. Like, so why not me?
I love that. And I think you want to live a life with purpose. And ultimately the job you were in wasn't fulfilling you. And so I think it's very brave, especially after 18 years doing something, to walk away and start living on your terms in a way that is more fulfilling, that is more intentional, and that, is able to help people in the way that you intentionally or originally wanted to do in the first place.
Yes.
But you're just doing it on your own terms now. So I love that. And so you started off and went into direct sales and what happened from there? You didn't stay in that. And was it something for your own purpose? Was it to help others? I guess what realm was that in?
So when I got into the first direct sales company, I was still actually working at the hospital. So I started in 2017 getting involved with direct sales. It wasn't until 2021 that I was actually terminated with cause from my career, and that's how it ended. I was looking for the way out on my own, but ultimately God had other plans for me, and there was another push out the door because ultimately we get too comfortable and stuck in our ways that we just stay there. Because ultimately, if whatever happened at the beginning of 2020 did not occur, I would still be in pharmacy. right? While I'm still working alongside what it is that I am creating. So then when I actually stood up for my beliefs, I started in actually mindset coaching. And I was thinking like,
Okay.
okay, because exactly like the power of the mind, we actually don't understand the way that our mind works. But I didn't like that. I just didn't like that form of helping people. It still just wasn't aligning with me. So I just keep on looking. And then that's how I got into co-authoring in two books that happened in 2022. And here I am still looking for what is in alignment with me. And through this journey, I found that you need to get involved with, or at least I found that it's best to get involved with something that is not a lifestyle change. So the first company I got involved with is a lifestyle change. The mindset coaching, it is actually a lifestyle change. I also did body, which is a lifestyle change. Now where I'm at, it is not a lifestyle change. It is products that we are using every single day. They're cleaner, they're naturally based, they're anti-aging. These are products that we use. They're in our washroom already. So it just made sense.
Awesome. And I think you said a few really great things there is that you had to try a bunch of things and to really figure out what was right for you. And it's important to figure that out. Sometimes we don't know, we just know we need to change. And so, you went into a few different areas. And because they were more of a lifestyle change, and that wasn't something that was aligning with you, and that's fine. It might align with somebody else that wasn't aligning with you. And through that, you're able to figure out what works for you. And I think that's important for everybody to realize that it's never a failure, but we do learn and grow and realize what we want and what we don't want in life. And that's in any part of life. So we need to take those risks. We need to take action. We need to try things to really realize what is going to work and what's not going to work because we're all different. And so it's easy to say, well, this worked for this person. It must work for me too. And that's not necessarily the case. There's no one set recipe for everybody. Right. And so sometimes we do need to have a little bit of trial and error to figure it out. And really it's also a growth experience for ourselves because I'm sure you learned a lot about yourself along the way, going through those different experiences and leading you to where you are now.
I'm still learning every single day, and actually listening to you just say that, it's like, if you think about it, we go back into high school, it's like we're told, okay, what do you want to be for the rest of your life now? And then we just choose. For instance, I ended up getting into pharmacy. So now that's where I'm supposed to stay for the rest of my life, and then it's like we like to use this analogy that variety is the spice of life. So if variety is the spice of life, why are we doing the same thing for 40 years? Why aren't
I
we
think
trying to
it's
figure out what actually lights us up and how we can help one another? Because if you really think about it, this whole world runs like a business. We either have a service, right? Or we have a product. We are a service in some sort of way that we come to serve here every day.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a very, old mindset that that's still ingrained in us of like you said, you're 18, you graduate, okay, choose your career now for the rest of your life and then you're pretty much like that's where you have to stay. Like you can work your way up if you like, but that's where you need to stay, so choose wisely. And it's a scary thing because me at 18 versus me now, as much as I'm the same at the core, I'm different. I've grown and what I've realized what I really want out of life. And that wasn't what I wanted at 18, right? And it's okay to change. It's okay to make adjustments and it's okay to reinvent yourself at any time. But it's scary because we've been wired a certain way and we need to literally rewire our brains to realize it's okay not to do that anymore.
And the more that we come into connection with individuals like ourselves and continue to find more people, or even just to inspire someone who has that thought or feeling that exactly like, I want more from this life. And exactly, I chose this when I was 20 or 18 or whatever. Like, like I want to change. I want my life to look different. I'm tired of watching other people. Why am I so held back? Right. And the only
Absolutely.
thing that I could say as to why you're so held back is because of all of that programming. And the programming, like we can reprogram it, but it will always pop back up. It will always pop back up. So it's like we think that we're just going to get to this level. And now all of a sudden we got there. And then we're going to think that we're not going to have that voice in our head anymore, that it's not. No, it never goes away. It never goes
But
away. It's just you have to be willing You have to be willing to continue to push forward every single day, regardless of what it looks like.
Yeah. You're making the choice every day to get up and to do what you're doing, and that's what's important. It's hard because the society is still the same. I think it's changing a little bit, but you still have that predominant mindset of, you know, to stick on that straight narrow path, and everybody's life should kind of look the same, and that's the way, I grew up, and doing something different was weird. It wasn't normal. That's, what are you doing? And I got questioned about it constantly, and I still get questioned about it. But I think at this point in my life, it's different because I'm just more confident in myself, where it's easier to push away all that questioning, judgment talk. It's still there. And I still question myself all the time, where it's like, am I doing the right thing? Maybe I should go back and be a teacher and do the safe thing. But it wasn't fulfilling to me. It's kind of like what you were saying. I was in a career where I want to help people, but I wasn't able to help them in the capacity that I wanted to in such a constrained environment. And so I completely relate with this idea of I want a life that's fulfilling, and the current life I was living was not fulfilling me. And so we needed to make a change, and you're never too old. I'm old, but I'm not that old where I need
We're
to
not
be.
old.
I'm, I'm, I'm old enough where it can be scary, but why do you need to settle? Just because I made a decision years ago does not necessarily mean that I need to stick to that decision now, you
Exactly.
know?
And then what people don't realize, like I said, like if the things didn't happen in 2020, there's a good chance that I would still be in pharmacy, right? But that's the thing. No one's saying that you need to actually leave the current career that you're in and then just go all into something else. Have that something else and do it alongside. Ultimately, have pretty much your 9 to 5 fund your venture.
Which makes sense. I think it's completely normal. And a lot of us do keep our jobs for a long time and do something on the side, because it's hard to just walk away, right? We have responsibilities. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it took even me a while before I walked away because I have bills to pay. I'm a mother, I have kids. And so lots of responsibilities before I could say I need to walk away from something that's not fulfilling enough and really focus on my side business and now my side businesses that are no longer side businesses, that are now my businesses, right? I still get even stuck in that mindset still of this like side thing. It's not that important, even though it's my career.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me a little more. You decided that lifestyle change businesses weren't aligning with you. And from there, did you move into now you're selling Monet products? Is that what you're currently doing now? Is there something with that? Tell me a little bit more about that journey and where you are right now.
So it was like, so it was 2022 when I started to like really look into like, hey, what am I going to do? So I was doing like that mindset coaching at the time. And then that's when I did the two co-authors. I co-authored in two different books in 2022. And then it was like, now it's 2023. It's like, okay, what am I doing here? So I was actually looking at three different direct sales companies. So it's like, I feel like I want to meet more people that are like me, that I'm actively looking for direct sales, where everyone else is like, oh my God, that's a scam. No, not only is it personal development, but it's also like, it really is going to create that life that you envision. Far too many of
Mhm.
us envision this life that we want and we feel like it's not possible. And all I can say to that is it's not possible through your 9 to 5. But it is possible through a venture like this. So when I was looking at these three companies, one of them was Monate, but I had said no to it because there's a lot of negative things out there regarding this company because it says that your hair is going to fall out. And I can assure you that it's not. My hair has completely transformed since I've been using these products now for a year and it took me continuing to watch my upline. So the girl that's on the online space who's creating that life for herself, that I'm feeling like I want that too. I continued to watch her for like a year. Actually, I think it was maybe even over a year. And her hair was getting better. Her team's hair was getting better. The results that she was sharing was getting better. And I'm like, so what am I doing here? Because I got into the whole beach body thing, which I'm grateful for because it actually has created like movement in my life week to week. So it's something that obviously it was something that I needed to do. But then that's where it is. Exercising is a lifestyle change. Everyone wants the hot body, but no one's willing to do the work to get the hot body,
Right. Yeah.
right? Whereas we're washing our hair. we're washing our hair, we are doing a skincare routine, we're probably using some makeup as well. And that's all this is. This is not a lifestyle change. It's just changing your products to a brand that actually performs. We actually are the number one leading beauty product brand and also in direct sales. So if we could just actually educate ourselves on what direct sales, this is actually something that you would want to be a part of. And maybe it's not Monat, but I'm saying direct sales is something that you want to be a part of.
No, and it's a great venture, and you always hear people say that it's a scam. I did it for a little bit too, not with Monet. I had done Arbonne for a bit and met some fantastic women. The products were great. Wasn't ultimately I decided just to pursue other ventures, but it wasn't because it isn't something that doesn't work. And so I knew a lot of women that became very successful, not just
Yeah.
women, men, but
Yeah.
mostly women that became very successful. The person that brought me in is very successful, and her and I are still friends today. And she's fantastic, and she still has a thriving business. I decided, I think again, this is your to your point, where figuring out what aligns with you best, right? And so I realized I tried it. It wasn't aligning, I think, with my ultimate goals in life and where I wanted to be and what I think how I could be the best that I can be personally. So I do think though it's fantastic. And I know lots of success stories from direct sales. And I think it can work for a lot of people. And it's not a scam. Maybe there are ones out there, but I think there's also a lot of really legit ones. I know people that are with Monet and speak really highly of it also. So there's a lot of positives. And I do encourage people to check these different avenues out and see what works for you, because this might be something that aligns with where you want to be in your life. And, something like Monet, there's a lot of flexibility, and that works too. And there's a lot of room for growth and development there. So
Yes.
lots of positive, I think, outcomes from being a part of that company for sure.
Yeah, definitely. If people would just be a little bit more open to opportunities and how it can really just streamline into their life and into pockets, those are all things. And then plus, and if you are coachable and you want something in your life that's different, you know that you need to do things that are different. And someone who's done that, they can lead you. But if you don't want to, like it's one of those, you could bring the horse to water, but you can't force them to drink. So it's the same thing. Like there's opportunities out there to change your life, and we could show you these opportunities, but it's ultimately what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Um, you're absolutely right. I think ultimately with whatever you decide to move into, I think you do need to go in with an open mind and open heart and be willing to put in the work, no matter what it is. And that's the only time you're going to see results. And I think a lot of people try these things, and whether it's with direct sales or a lifestyle brand that they want to be a part of, and they expect instant results
Yes.
with anything,
Yes.
right? So if you have somebody joining your team, someone's like, well, you're doing well. Why am I not doing well? Well, you've only been a part of it maybe for a month or two. You need to give it time, right? And it takes time. And you get what you put into, right? So ultimately, no matter what you do in life, it really is about that consistency and about your own personal growth and development. And then also providing that to your team, that growth, that those opportunities for growth and development. And that's really the way that you will continue to be successful and move ahead and continue to level up in life. So no matter what area you're in, it's just that consistency needs to be there.
Yes. And everyone's timeline is different, right? Because there are people
Yeah.
that actually come in and you can come in right now and totally blow right past me. Right, and then there's people like actually it was, I believe it was just November that somebody who's been in the business for 8
Hmm.
years, she got her biggest bonus check. So now can you imagine that if she gave up? And the thing that I wanna tell people just to encourage you, like, I was in my career for over 18 years. So I will put 18 years into something that wasn't fulfilling me, that was, and you're just sitting at the lunch table complaining with all the other women. You're looking for the next vacation just to get away from it. We're putting in money so we can put in the money for the pot of like for the lottery, right? Because we're
Right.
like wanting to
Right.
win the lottery so we can get out of here. Like everybody wants to get out of their job, but everyone's looking for the easy way out. And this is not an easy way out. This is not an overnight success. This is really like self-development on steroids. And I even feel a slowdown sometimes for myself because it just becomes so like, why does it have to be this way? Right. Sometimes you're just going to get into that like mindset too. Is like, why? Like, why can't it just be like, hey, it's shampoo. It's not the end of the world. Like, you would think it would be an easy sell, but it's not.
Mhm. It's not, and we all get stuck on our ways, and I get that. I think it's like, well, I've been using this product for forever, and I don't want to change, and or whatever the pushback is, and nothing is easy, but it's all a growth and learning experience, both to provide healthier options to people, but also for your own purposes to develop different ways in which to connect with individuals so that you can provide that product in a way or sell that product in a way that they will see its use, that it is going to be something that's going to provide value in their life. And I think that's the big thing is showing that value aspect of things, right? So that people know, okay, it's not just a shampoo, right? But it's all a growth and learning experience. And I think it's fantastic that you're continuing to learn from it because I think we should all be lifelong learners. You never just have it. Things change, people change, and you need to change with it and grow with it. You talk a lot about change and you model that change. So what are some practices that you do to really help with your leadership within your team? And also how do you, I guess, exemplify, clarity and wellness so that you can really show up consistently for yourself and for others?
Well, I guess this would be new for me. Is I'm really getting into my relationship with God, and because
Mhm.
ultimately we are here for a reason. I'm not going to really go on that because it's like I'm just creating my relationship with Him. But I feel like I've been actually starting off my day in the Bible for like the last 176 days, I think, at this point. So I feel like just really connecting with that because Jesus went around to share a message and what happened to him everywhere he went. And I feel
Mhm.
like that's exactly what we are all doing when we speak in a different way that is not the normal way that we've all been attuned to speak, right? We're gonna be exactly chuckle that, heckle that, whatever the case may be. Actually connecting with him is giving me that strength to show up every day
Mhm.
because he had a mission, he had a message that people did not wanna listen to, and well, in the end, he was right. Oh, like, so at the end of the day, if we need to grab our power from anybody, it should be from there because ultimately we have a mission here. We don't need to connect to God, but we need to at least connect to there is a higher power than us, a higher source. But when we understand that there's something bigger than us,
Mhm.
we need to be big like that too, and far too many of us are just playing small, right? Because we've actually
Yeah.
been taught to, you know, not love ourselves, not big ourselves up, not be proud of ourselves, not to stand on that pedestal, not because we got to get back down here. All of us have a purpose to serve one another. We are actually here for community. We are here to be with one another. And what has happened over these last several years, we have actually segregated. We are actually on our own. We're more like, disconnected from one another, right? So it's really connecting there again to realize that we do have a purpose here and we need to actually remember who we are. So going back to how, body actually did something for me, right? Because we are energy. And if we just keep all of this negative and stagnant energy within us, we got to actually move it out. And one of the things that, I've actually just started doing, I think at the end of December or beginning of December, is like a lymphatic drain. Like you don't like there's just so much that we don't even know about ourselves because we have
Mhm.
outsourced it to somebody who wears a white coat.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think we do need to start taking care of ourselves, from the inside out. It's not something that a doctor can always fix. So I think you're right. Having whatever your belief system is, there is something bigger out there. And I think we've become a very individualistic society, like you said, and we've become very disconnected from others, but even from ourselves. And it is part of that is really being able to reflect and understand who we are and be confident in who we are and love who we are and yeah, boost ourselves up because I do think that's important. It's also important to get that from others too and be surrounded by a community that is willing to support you and be there for you and be proud of you and that can also be very difficult, especially in the society we live in now. It's because of that individualistic mindset,
Yeah.
and I like the fact that you use that we've become more segregated. And I do think that we have been. There's a lot of different sections that people have kind of thrown themselves into. And I think we're having a hard time really trying to reamalgamate. It's something that I think we need to start working on. And part of that, I think, with the pandemic really amplified it because we were stuck in our homes most of the time. And so I think that really amplified the disconnection that had been evolving over time.
Yes. And right now I'm really that is one of my main focuses is to connect and create a community of women who want to continuously learn and grow and fail forward because we all have these deep embedded programs. We also don't realize that we have a lot of trauma that is embedded into ourselves, and they're just things that ultimately is like just like it's like just picture someone holding us from the back and holding you back, like, you're not going
Yep.
right, because
Right. Right.
ultimately our system has been built to keep us safe, and the moment that, like, even just doing something like this, the system's thinking like, mayday, 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 what's happening here, we're doing something different, but like
Yeah.
we're not gonna die, right? That's not
That's
what's
right.
happening, but our body thinks that maybe we are.
Sure, you go into that fight
Right.
or flight mode, right? Your
Right.
amygdala kicks in and you're like, okay, what do I do to protect myself? And that's natural. It's human nature. It's how our bodies are built. And we do have to realize that, ways in which to push through that
Yes.
and to build the resilience and the fact that you're connecting more with your Catholic faith and getting closer to God and reading the Bible, that's helping you build the resilience that you need to get past those feelings of anxiety or uncertainty because want something more, you need to get out of that comfort zone. And that can be a scary thing. Absolutely. And whatever you connect with it so that it helps you build that resilience. It's so important. I think we've lost that. It's easy to play the victim. And we're seeing that more and more in society. Just rather than trying to help grow and change yourself, it's easier just to be like, oh, this happened to me because of XYZ, and it's everybody else's fault that I am where I am. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah, but a lot of
If
people get caught up in victim mentality, right? And it's just
Mhm.
like, this happened to me, so, and I can't, or even like, I'm a mom or whatever. Like, there's all these things that we can't do that because of X, Y, and Z. And that's just a limitation.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
if we get together with women who want to strive forward, who want to do the scary things, it's actually, it almost is like a little bit easier because when you're sitting at that table with women who just want to talk about, the next thing that they want to buy from Amazon, opposed to how are we going to make $1,000 in the next month? Like,
Mhm.
I wanna sit at a table with people who wanna think about how we're gonna get the next venture, how we're going to even buy land. Guys, buy land, like, buy
Yeah.
animals. Like, there's just things that, like, and that's the thing because it's like, I was having a conversation with a young, 30-year-old boy, and I was telling him about how you have the ability to really help people in direct sales because of the money that you can make here. And he's like, "Money's evil." Money is the root of all evil. And it's like, and I think because we've all heard that and we actually do, I think a lot of us actually believe that, then it's like, that's why no one's actually doing more. It's like everyone's just checking their bank account and counting how many days they have until they're going to be in trouble, opposed to, okay, how do I get more zeros at the end of my bank account? And it's not a negative thing. My condo, rent, there's maintenance fees. I got my mortgage, whatever, like all these things. This computer, this ring light, everything costs money. Clothes, there's nothing for free. You need the money in order just to survive. And when you have a little bit extra, you get to help other people. You get to help your community.
Absolutely.
And the thing that I love about direct sales when you are sharing products, particularly, is because we're buying these products already. So we are going to big stores to buy these products. We are buying these products from there's seven umbrellas of different companies that pretty much produce all of the products that are on the shelves in our stores, at Amazon, at our salon, whatever the case may be. And when we go and use our hard earned money, we are giving it to a corporation that their pockets are actually full and overflowing. When you give your money to a person who is sharing the product, you just put food on their table. And now, if we create a community of individuals who are either A, just sharing the product and you're just a customer, but you're giving your money to a family. And maybe that mom can buy, like, get that kid into sports. They needed their winter coat, their boots. You just supplied that for that mom, you know? And then, like, if you're doing the business side of it, exactly, when you're helping other women, so that's why this part excites me more, because we have to realize, like, I didn't get into this because I needed better products. I got into this because I was actively looking for a company to be a part of, right? So it's like, what I can now help another woman earn an income. I'm now showing them how they can do it. That is now putting food on their table. So if we could
Right.
really, that's what I mean. This is where we have to really learn. We need to wrap our head around the fact that when we do this, we've now created a community where our hard earned money is being circulated amongst each other,
Hmm.
opposed
Yeah.
to back to the corporations, always filling their pockets.
I think we do need to be supporting, whether it be through direct sales or small businesses around us that are, they're trying to put food on the table. And so if you're going to spend the money, why not put it to, something that really matters and to a business that really matters, that is actually there to make a difference. Again, when you and I spoke about this before, where everybody talks a big game, but then nobody really, I think, invests in those entrepreneurial ventures, or not enough people do, into those small businesses. And, it's unfortunate where you say something, but then there's no action behind it. And so we do need to keep spreading this information to people, the importance of really supporting small businesses and in whatever aspect that is. And I recently saw something talking about the closure rate in um, Toronto and the GTA, and it is just
I saw.
astronomical. The businesses that are closing, these small businesses, I think was like the restaurant food business is 75%, will
Wow.
close. Insane. And most of these small businesses, it's, I think the lowest, I can't remember what it was, but it was like maybe salons or something, or like at the 45% or something, but it's a lot. And the numbers are big, and it's because we're not supporting, these businesses. And that's really, really unfortunate that we work hard for our money and then we're throwing it, towards these larger, big corporations. And I know we're all going to do it to some degree. I do it too,
Yeah,
but
of course.
I think it's important to be aware and know where it's going. Right.
Exactly. It is.
Yeah.
It really is important.
Absolutely. Um, well, we have definitely spoken about a lot, and I've really enjoyed this conversation with you, Daniela. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about or that you want to share with our listeners today?
You know what? I guess it'll just be like, if you have a thought in your mind, in your heart, it was put there for a reason, right? And so go and do something with it. And it is going to be scary. But find that person who is doing it too and
Hmm.
link arms with them. Because
Yeah.
it's so much easier when you have others that are doing it too, because
Hmm.
then it could just feel very, like, really lonely. So don't sit on it, because life is far too short. And then one day we're gonna look back, and they always say, like, person that's, on their dying bed, what do they wish the most? They don't wish that they cleaned their house, and they should have done. It's like that they took that risk, that they did that
Yeah.
thing. They always,
Yeah.
that the things that they didn't do. So
Yes. I love that message. And I'm glad that you closed out on that message, because nobody wants to live a life of regret. And then, you're on your deathbed saying, I should have done all of these things. You don't want to look back on life with regret, and surround yourself with like minded people that are going to level you up, that are going to help you rise, that are going to make you the best that you can be, that are not going to drain your energy. So, pick your circle wisely. It's so important. It makes a difference on the person that you become, right? So you help each other and you feed off of each other. And that goes both ways, where if you have somebody in your life that's draining you, that's negative, it's hard to walk away from that. And you end up, I think, you know, demoting yourself and going down to their level rather than the opposite. So surround yourself with like-minded people that are better than you, that you can kind of feed off of and grow with them. Be with those types of people and surround yourself with that positivity.
Yeah, you remind me of that. Like, what is it? It's like if you hang out with five people that are fit, you're going to be the sixth person. If you hang out with five complainers, you're going to be the sixth complainer. If you
Yeah.
hang out with five successful individuals, you're going to be the sixth one. There's also one that it's like if you are in proximity to someone who is successful, I think it's like you have a, don't quote me on this, but you have like a 25% or a 35% more like likely to be successful because of just that proximity. Because of the fact, guys, we are energy. It's
Yeah.
energy.
Absolutely. Mhm. I agree with that 100%. Energy is big and we do feed off of that energy. And so I know that, I want to connect with lots of people, but I'm also very particular as to who I let into my inner circle because of that type of energy, right? I'm happy where I am and I like to keep it that way, right? But also inspire others to live a happy, healthy, positive life in whatever way that looks for them. I do want to thank you so much, Daniela. Is there anything else you want to share or add before we end?
Everything. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for reaching out and asking to do this.
Yes, thank you. I enjoyed it. So thank you so much for living your truth and inviting us all into your journey and helping us think in a way that we can live bigger, live better, lead better, and really chase what matters to us in our lives. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Remember, you deserve bold dreams, fearless action, and a life you'll look back on with pride. And so, to everyone listening, if this conversation resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who needs this reminder that there is no single path to success, but the most powerful one is the path that's authentically yours. That wraps today's episode. I'm your host, Amanda Jadvazi. And until next time, keep showing up boldly, keep trusting yourself, and most importantly, live life fearlessly.